I'd like to repeat the welcome that Joe has given. It's great to see you here, and let's hope the meeting is as good as these always are. For those of you who are giving talks, don't be nervous. This is fine. As you look out over the large auditorium, it'll be great, and everything will work very well, I'm sure. So because I was allocated 10 minutes, I was wondering what on earth I could do, but I thought I would do this. So you may be aware, some of you those who are Bristolians, but those who've been here before, that we are part of the Department of Earth Sciences, although we are now located in the Life Sciences building. The Palaeontology group was traditionally based in this building, which is the Wills Memorial Building. If you've not seen it as you walk around the campus later today, I'm sure that you will. The history of the university is outlined there, and in fact, geology and paleontology were part of the original menu of what was taught at the university. I don't know the whole story, but at least we can claim from the start that this was a properly mixed university, men and women. We have to remember in Victorian times that in this country, very few universities allowed women to attend at that time, which seems astonishing. And yet this one did, and has done so ever since. And there was a long episode in late Victorian times when the citizens of Bristol wanted a university but couldn't afford one, and various technical colleges and training colleges and others existed in some difficulty with very little funding until the Wills family put up the money, initially £100,000, and I think eventually it was about £1 million that they put towards building what became the Wills Memorial Building there. Student numbers were quite low at that time. Now the numbers have gone up. Some of you may know that Bristol University, in a rather dangerous move, I think, took on another 1,500 or 2,000 students a couple of years ago, and we're still sort of trying to cope with those numbers. Not geology, not us, we more or less carry on as before. The university claims various Nobel laureates. I think we were the first university in this country to have a female chancellor, Dorothy Hodgkin, a very distinguished chemist who won the Nobel Prize as well. And Winston Churchill famously was chancellor of the university for a number of years. Here is the program of geology as it was taught in the 1870s. E.B. Tawney then was the lecturer, fellow of the Geological Society. You can read through the composition of the course. We haven't changed it one bit. That's exactly what we teach today. And various names of people there. W.J. Solas was quite a famous paleontologist. He started here as a junior lecturer, went to Dublin, eventually went to Oxford. And he was one of the first people to do serial sectioning, as it happens. He did quite detailed accounts of anatomy of, I think, Devonian fishes and ichthyosaurs and other creatures based on grinding away serial slices through a specimen. The thing I like about this in the course is rocks are divided up into sedimentary and unsedimentary. That's how it should be. And then another famous name was Reynolds. And he, at that point, the professor was professor of geology and zoology. And in the early part, about 100 years ago, the early part of last century, the two separated. So that tradition of teaching geology and zoology together is actually quite deeply rooted in the university. And Reynolds was here forever. He had many, many different roles. He was in the university for 40 or 50 years. And as was the case in those days, he studied almost everything, paleontology, but all sorts of other stuff as well. Some of you may know that we have a presence in the inner court building, which is behind the Wills building. You may see that later. And we still have labs over there, and they're associated with the SEM and various other things. So we used to be very much in that building. And then over the last 20 years or so, Earth Sciences here has grown quite a bit. And then latterly, of course, I think most of you will have seen the Life Sciences building, and you may have gone to the Icebreaker last night in the Sky Lounge, which is up here. if you haven't looked around the building, it's quite worth exploring, so it would be good to find time later today to explore it. So the Paleo Group has continually expanded in Bristol. Here's a summary of additional staff. So Jakob and Davide were hired quite recently, and Tom Davis as lab manager. The numbers of people in the Paleo Group, so quite a large assemblage of people doing all kinds of different things. And if you're not part of the group, you'll meet many Bristol paleontologists, and I'm sure they'll be happy to talk about what they do. So I'll stop at that point and simply reiterate then that you are very welcome here. I hope the meeting is a success. We will sit in the back row and just quietly enjoy the talks, and good luck to everybody. So thank you for coming.